Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of the Jam Talk Show. You're tuned to the Jam Talk Show. I'm your host, Dorlan H. Francis, and I will be with you this afternoon until 7:30 p.m. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and I'll invite you to share this program with your friends. You can listen to it repeatedly and you can share it repeatedly. And I hope at the end of the program you would have learned something that you can find useful. Last week I spoke about the government's 1.5 million tax plan, and I offer some ways in which I think that plan could be funded, even if the funds for the oil edge was not available. The funds for the Energy Stabilization Fund was not available if it was used up with oil edge and other housekeeping matters, as appeared to be the situation. And I mentioned how by reducing the interest rate, this thing could be made possible. As a follow on to that program, I have decided to do a program on how prosperity can be achieved by using sensible monetary policy. So that is the essence of the show this afternoon. We're going to look at how our country and the people can achieve prosperity through sensible monetary policy. But as usual, I will start with current affairs. And in the current affairs this afternoon, I have to give a big shout out to West Indies cricket. And I'd like to show my appreciation of what the cricket teams of the West Indies accomplish. The under-19 did it early on and inspire the ladies, and the ladies having performed at such excellent level inspire the men. They could not have done any less. I'm sure they couldn't have gone home if they did not at least match what the ladies did. So I'd like to give a big shout out to West Indies cricket, and in appreciation of what they have done, I'd just like to render this song by one of their cricketing stars, Dwayne Bravo. DJ Bravo, DJ Bravo, champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows it, Bravo, a champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows Chris Gayle is a champion, Beanie a champion, Bounty a champion, Marshall is a champion, Bunty is a champion, Poland is a champion, Larry
of cricket and football. Come and dance in my name we call. Champion, champion, every journey and every yard man. Champion, champion, every victory and every nation. Champion, champion, every journey and every yard man. Champion, champion, Beanie a champion, Bounty a champion, Marshall is a champion, Bunty is a champion, Pollard is a champion, Lara is a champion, Gale is a champion. Don't forget Michael Jordan, Obama a champion, Mandela a champion, Serena a champion, Wendy a champion, Shelly a champion, 958 Bolt a champion. Champion, 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 champion.
Real champions indeed. And congratulations are in order for the team. West Indies cricket is really the I think it's at the cricketing level that we really show the spirit of West Indies. You know, and they coming together of all the islands. I don't even think in economics we have that kind of camaraderie, that kind of, you know, spirit of believing that we're all in this thing together. And it's really a wonderful thing to see how, you know, the various islands, the various peoples can come together and show the world that, you know, united we are hard to beat. It's a little disheartening to know that the board, the cricket board, don't seem to be getting it together, and I would hope that they would do so, because, you know, a lot of people don't seem to understand that, you know, the only constant in life is change. Things are always changing, so the board cannot be behaving like how they used to behave, like in the days of old, when they were just when they were just test cricket going on. You know, the whole thing has changed. Yeah, you know, there's a lot more. It's not just entertainment anymore. It's now a business, and they have to run it like a business. And everybody in a business has to get a fair shake. Nobody don't want to feel that they're putting out, and then other people are the ones reading the reward. That's the recipe for failure. That's why socialism fails. People need to feel that they are being fairly dealt with, and I hope the board can get that together, so that the spirit of West Indies cricket can live on. Again, I'd like to congratulate the teams, the ladies, Stephanie Taylor and her crew, and Darren Sammy and his crew. Congratulations, you made us all proud. And for a moment there, we were all one, West Indians. Okay, I'll move on into the usual realms of politics. Notice that this week the big thing on the agenda was the appointment of boards, and the government was exercising its authority, you know, because when all is said and done, governing is done at the grassroots level, and the board who are the people who implement policies, who see that policies are carried out, and without the proper board in place, the government can come with all their dreams and talk their plan all they want, but if they don't have the people to execute, nothing will be accomplished. So I think the government is demonstrating that it understands that, and it seems to be appointing some balanced board. You know, the board is mixed with people of different political persuasion, different sects, and different skill sets, and that is good. I'm yet to hear any outcry of about the appointment of any board. Um, because I think balance is being maintained, and that is very good to know. Um, in that realm, the appointment of Marcus Mackenzie was a little bit disappointing. Well, not the appointment, the rescission of his appointment was a little bit disheartening. It's disheartening because I don't think that if a father employs his son, mean that is necessary is nepotism. I don't see that. I think a former minister had employed his two daughters, and I wouldn't quarrel with that. I wouldn't quarrel with it. If the people are qualified for the position they make, if they are being paid commensurate with what other people in the field is being paid, and if they have to work for the money, like they're on staff and they just show up when they feel like or that kind of. So long as that is not done, I don't see anything wrong with relatives appointing relatives. It's a different matter when if you have need for 10 people and you're going to put four relatives on board. That's a different matter, you know. Or if these people are being overpaid, or if they're not being required to fulfill the function, if they're not being required to work, that's a different matter. But I see nothing wrong, and I must say I'm a bit disappointed. We cannot take the goody two shoes governance too far, and I think this is going too far with it. Going too far. Nothing wrong if an MP implies for a relative man. Everything has to be done with discretion. And as I understand it, the position was advertised. It was there for some time because there was nobody coming forward to take it. And the young man qualified. And because his father is the man in charge, he can't work. Nonsense. This is nonsense. We have to be careful how we try to be too prim and proper. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the people won't even respect or appreciate it at the end of the day. So you better look out for your people, them, and make sure them have good jobs. I personally believe in performance. I believe in performance of pay. I don't believe people should get paid and not perform. But it doesn't mean that because you have a certain affiliation, you can't get the job. I think that needs some rethinking. And government minister must not be afraid to employ their relatives. You can just do it with discretion. You're not going to need 5 people and use 3 of them as your relative. That wouldn't be right. But don't tell me say one of your relatives can't work for you. Nonsense. As long as the qualification right, as long as the job is being done, of course. If you can't work for you, who should they go work for? So I personally don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I don't understand that the young Mackenzie had any issues, right? Had any questionable character. I understand that the young man was qualified for the position he was offered, and on that basis, I don't see why he shouldn't have gotten it. And the government not to be too hung up on this goody two shoes business. It will get them nowhere, and the people who they're trying to appease will not appreciate it. And you're going to offend people who support you. And they are the one you're going to have to look to be re-elected. So remember that. Jamaicans are not very grateful people. You go and you do all you can and you work and do all kind of thing. You offend your own, and then who you looking to think they're going to come and show appreciation will left you there. Election come around, they can't be bothered. You get things up and running, and all is well with them again, they stay home. And if the people who support you is gonna come back and vote to make sure you retain power. So be careful what you're doing. Anyway, other than that, the board appointments seem to have been balanced, carefully thought out, and I hope they'll be effective because the country is run by the boards. That's where the rubber hit the road, and you have to get that right. Otherwise, policies will be just hot here on ink on paper, but nothing will be executed. So that takes care of the current affairs for this week. It's probably a little slow. The only other thing worth mentioning is the 30+% drop in serious crimes, and that is good to know. And I would want to think it's a carryover from Minister Bunting effort. But one thing I know is that the baton was passed to another minister, Bobby Montague, who I'm sure will run his leg of the race, and I can rest up. Well, I'm confident that this downward trend in major crimes will continue. And I also I'm hoping to see downward trend in murders also, because if nobody will run a good leg of the relay, Minister Bobby Montague will run a good leg of relay. I'm expecting great things from him, and I know he'll perform and deliver. So that takes care of the current affairs, and it takes me to the main topic for the afternoon. And the topic for this afternoon is how prosperity can be achieved through sensible monetary policies. It was Daniel Webster who in 1837 he made this comment: "He who tampers with the currency robs labor of its bread." He who tampers with the currency robs labor of its bread. Daniel Webster, 15 March 1837. I often wonder about those Americans, those guys who create that United States of America. They were some of the most brilliant minds you can ever think of. The Daniel Webster, the Benjamin Franklin, the Jefferson, the Madison. Those guys were light years, way ahead of their time. And if we had that kind of quality around, the mess we are facing now, we would never face it. Because right now we are being led by guys who, they go on like they're smart, but they're fooled by the belief that we are here to make money, and that once money is being made, all is well. As long as their friends are set up and can give them political contribution or kickback to put in their pocket, they think that all is well. And this is why we are in the mess we are in. Right? Because there has been a lot of tampering with the currency. Our problems are man-made. made by us leaders who are not smart enough to recognize danger when they see it. Right? We have a guy like Benjamin Franklin. These guys, when they were in the colonies, the Americans, right? This is before they had the independence war, right? They started to print their own currency. They call it colonial script, right? And I remember reading Benjamin Franklin and him say the currency was done in proper proportions, right? And those guys from those days knew that the currency had to be in proper proportions. When you see what happened later and later days, like what happened in Germany in the 1920s, you have to understand where the guys were coming from in the 17, the Independence War was 1776. We're not talking about from the 1770s or probably even from the 1760s. They were thinking along those lines, knowing that the currency has to be in proper proportions. And today we are overwhelmed by idiots who think that amassing money by any means necessary is why God placed us here on earth. And those are the fools that is causing the kind of suffering in the world that we have today. Right? These guys don't learn from history and they don't use common sense. Right? Because all I use is common sense. I know, so you can't have money, you can't have money. You have these guys come now with all these, on Wall Street, them have these high frequency trading. They just want to make money like light speed. To do what with it? To do what with it? They want to make money by any means necessary. They come with these crap about proprietary trading. That's nonsense. Foolishness. Those are the problems. Those are the reasons why you suffering right now. Why life is so hard and there's so much anxiety around. Because of these crazy thinking. Because people think that we are here to shore up money. To pile it up as high as possible. Right? And nothing could be further from the truth. The reason we are here just like all the other mammals on the earth. To enjoy God's good earth. For as long as possible. And then to die and go home to our maker. Right? So what we need to enjoy God's good earth is food, clothing, shelter, medicine, entertainment. Those are the things we need to enjoy. Right? It was just over time that people determined that by having currency, the producers of these things that we need to sustain our lives will pass it. It will be easier to pass these goods and these services from people who provide them or produce them to people who use them if we have a medium of exchange. And that is what money is about. It's a medium of exchange used to allow the smooth transition of goods from people who produce them to people who consume them. Right? And if Benjamin Franklin and his peers could have gotten it right from 1770 in the 1770s, why we can't get it right now? Why we come now and feel that we must do is pile up the billions them in the bank and send them off to Panama and all those places? And I think that is what the life is about. Right? From those times, they know that the currency, and that is why the colonies were doing so good. Right? When England asks what was the secret of the success of the colonies, Benjamin Franklin let them know that they had their own currency. And that was one of the main reasons why they fought the independence war, Because England wanted them to stop issuing currency. About the Boston Tea Party, that was just the what you call it, the straw that broke the camel back. But the main thing they were prepared to go to war over was in defense of their ability to issue their own currency, the colonial script. Because they recognized that by doing that, there was greater economic activity and there was greater prosperity. Right? And England wanted, because when people have your own money, you don't have the kind of control. And England still wanted that kind of control and wanted them to stop issuing it, the colonial script. And that was one of the main reasons they went to war and fought for their own independence. But I want to go a little further back in history to let people understand how when people tamper with the currency, how they can rob labor of its bread. Right? You have a number of historians come from time to time and try to say why Rome fell. Rome was one of the greatest empires, right, in the era just before Christ. Right? It was all about the Romans. And a lot of people can't understand how Rome was so great at one time and then all of a sudden it fell. It is now just Italy, that little strip of land there. Right? And I've read all kind of things. Some say because of Christianity, which is really nonsense. Some say because of debauchery and because man was able to do all kind of things, gambling and them kind of things there. Again, that is nonsense. Right? Because when it comes to vice, I mean, look at what happened in Las Vegas. A lot of vice going out there. Well, they're prosperous. So you can be sinful, you can indulge in vice, and your country doesn't have to collapse. Right? Rome fell for one reason. They tampered with the currency. Right? I don't fault the people who did the tampering, because when you check it out, what was done was necessary. See what happened? In Rome, they issued a currency called denarius, and it had a certain amount of silver in it. Right? But in any country, in any economy, you're going to have more is a way of life. In most countries anyway. Japan probably the only country where you find that they are having declining population. But in most other countries, what you have is growth in the population. There are more people, so you need to produce more bread, more butter, more of everything. And now when you produce more, you need more currency to circulate the goods and service. Right? Now in the days of Rome, you never have paper money. Didn't have paper money. The Chinese started paper money. I don't remember. I think it was 7th century they started with paper money. So that was after Rome had fell. So what they were using was metallic coin, right? And what they tried to do is make it out of rare metal, so that it's not easily forged and to maintain its value. But because more is a way of life, and they needed more and more currency to circulate, more and more goods and services for more and more people, they had to be getting more and more currency, more and more metal. And using metal, they would have used up all the available metal, all the gold, all the silver, just to make money to circulate. You understand? Now some people say it was so that Rome could go and fight its war. I don't subscribe to that. I subscribe to the theory and the belief that it was just the demands of a growing and expanding economy. A country where you have more and more and more people needing more and more goods and service. Therefore, you need more and more currency to circulate it. And because of that, they they reduce the volume, the amount of silver that was in the dineros was reduced, right? And the people thinking that the dineros with more silver was more valuable started to hoard those dineros, and they stopped spending them. And that is why Rome fell. I want an economist come tell me otherwise. Rome fell because the currency changed. And the change in currency was not, it's not necessarily, it could have been because they wanted a little more money to go fight some more wars, so they kind of wanted to create more money in an inflationary kind of way, which would have been bad. But it is my belief that it was more so because of the growing economy needing more goods and more service and more money to circulate it, right? And because of that, they had to basically reduce the amount of precious metals that was in their coinage, right? And then now, because that was done, which in and of itself, in my opinion, was not a bad idea. It was a necessary thing to do. And so because the precious metal, the content of precious metal in the currency was reduced, people start to hoard the money with the more silver in it, believing that those were more valuable, right? And when you hoard money, what you have is that you cause an economic freeze. And the Romans were there hoarding the money. They caused the Roman business to fail. Because people wasn't spending no more. It's like when you run into a deflationary situation. In a deflation, when prices are falling and so on, people stop buy. Because what they say, they wait till the price could reach even lower to buy. And when you have that kind of thing, in no time business will fail. So that is what happened to Rome. The Romans get the dineros with the high silver content and they choose to hoard it. They choose not to spend it. They didn't want to spend. And that led to business failure. It led to economic failure. Romans had to start looking to foreigners to get food. And because when you do things like that, you have what is called inflation. Because the local industries almost kill off, and then you're bringing in from foreign, and it usually is not in enough quantity to meet the demands. So because of that, you have inflation. So it was those two factors, I believe, more than anything else, that caused Rome to fail. The inflation and the inflation, and then the fact that people are hoarding the money and not spending, causing business to fail. Those are the things. Now, when money get hard, when times get hard, character change. You could be disciplined, you could be polite and courteous all you want when times are good. When times get hard, character change. And when the economic situation change, the venerated, the much vaunted Roman soldier lost his discipline. It was no longer discipline. Right? Because you can't ask soldier man to be disciplined when he don't know him going to feed him family. And his wife and kids are suffering and through either high inflation or lack of stuff. He's not gonna be, the morale is not gonna be great. Right? So discipline broke down. And that was because of the currency, because of hoarding of the currency. But that hoarding was triggered by, I don't want to even call that currency tampering, because to me what was done was necessary. You had to stretch the money. You understand? Because you just had more goods and more service to circulate, so you needed more money to circulate it. So if you were to maintain the same value of the denarius, you'd use up maybe all the silver, maybe you couldn't have enough silver to put in there in the first place. You understand? And that would cause economic stagnation if you don't have enough money out there to circulate the goods and the services as they come on stream. Then you're gonna run into a stagnant situation. You have to have enough money to do it, right? So that's what happened to Rome, and that's why Rome fell. And I say that to say, don't mess with money. When you mess with money, you mash up lives. As Daniel Webster say, he who tampers with the currency robs labor of its bread. I'm a comrade friend, I don't mean the labor right them. I mean all who work. When you tamper with the currency, that's what you do. Right? And that is one example of currency tampering. But that thinking, the same thinking which led to them hoarding money, led us into the mercantilism. Right? And right up from Rome days up until Adam Smith shed light on the matter, people and countries thought that wealth was the amount of gold bar you have in your vault, the amount of silver bars you have in your vault, and that was wealth. And when you have some countries who get some gold and silver, they don't want to spend it. They didn't want to spend it because in their mind, oh, I have wealth and I'm not letting it go. Not letting it go. And they used to hoard the gold and silver they get. And the same effect that hoarding the denarius had on Rome, the same effect of hoarding gold and silver, it's the same effect it had on the global economy during the era of mercantilism. Right? You had city. That is why these stronger countries went out and colonized Africa, colonized Latin America and the Caribbean, because most of them was there going searching for gold. Right? They went in search for gold, and that's why they colonized these countries. And that was one of the hallmark of mercantilism, the colonialism. So came out of that. Because these rich countries wanted other countries from which they could find gold to hoard. Right? And it was total crazy thinking. Total misunderstanding of what is wealth and how money should be used. Right? During Spain AD, they went to Latin America and they dig down the money mountain down in Bolivia there. There's a money mountain down there now. It is made of almost pure silver. And they went there, dig it down, smelt it, and send back the silver bar to Spain. And they thought they were rich. How rich is Spain today? Where is Spain today? Right? Riches is not gold and silver. Gold and silver was used as a medium of exchange. But riches is when you can get the goods that sustain your life. That's what is riches. If you have all the gold and silver and nobody no have bread or butter, you're going dead. You understand? If you can't get water to drink, you're going dead. Gold and silver can't save you. Right? And that is not wealth. But that is what the money gods them wouldn't have us believe. And that is why we are having problems in the world. Because we are very misguided. And this mercantilism, where Spain was one of the big guys on the block during those days, they go around the world. And every week you have some galleons going back to Spain with gold bar and silver bar. Right? And Spain was having inflation of about 1,000% because they weren't producing nothing. Because gold and silver can't eat. And gold and silver don't cure or comfort. Understand? And those thinking continued. Where a country figure say, oh, the more gold I have is the richer I am. So when gold come into my country, I not making it leave. So therefore I don't not going to trade with my neighbors. Right? I'm not going to trade with them. Those thinking persist until Adam Smith came with his wealth of nation. And I'm telling you, man, Adam Smith is not accorded the respect he deserves. You know, some conservative want to claim that he's the first guy. He's not the first conservative. He wasn't no conservative. Adam Smith is a smart man. Adam Smith was one of the brightest mind economy I ever seen. Right? And Adam Smith recognized that, wait, yeah, hold on, gold. But that is not how you measure the wealth of a nation. I'm writing book. Wealth of nation. And him explain how you get a nation becomes wealthy. And Adam Smith said that a nation becomes wealthy when it produces a lot of goods and services. Not how much gold and silver you have. It's how much goods and services you produce. And that is why the measure for the wealth of a country, we now use GDP and GNP. Is Adam Smith that come from? The gross domestic product. The amount of goods and services that you produce. That is what determines wealth. Not gold and silver. You understand? And so Adam Smith recognized that, and then what he said, and this is what the conservative and the greedy capitalists, them, well, I don't want to look capitalist, because I'm a capitalist. Don't want nobody get me wrong. I am a capitalist. And I believe capitalism is one of the best system of economic activity you will have. But because mankind is basically selfish and greedy, you have to have checks and balance on the capitalism. Right? So this leads me to where this thinking of free market, where it came from and how and what danger it posed. Now when Adam Smith saw that people were hoarding the gold and refusing to trade, he said, no, you should have free markets. Right? Free markets. That's where the concept of free marketism came from. It also had to do when Adam Smith did his work. It was during the time of feudalism and serfdom, where the feudal lords, the aristocrats and the nobilities owned the land, and the serfs used to work, right? And then if you plant a plot of cabbage, 1 acre of cabbage, the feudal lord would have basically take everything from him. And he would only keep what he would need to sustain life for himself and his family. And Adam Smith said, if you want people to really produce, don't do it that way. Let the man keep it, the produce of his effort. And he should sell it in the market for the price that the market will bear. So that was where the idea of free market came to. So that when the serf go plant up the land, him no run care, go give a feudal lord, him take it and go into the market with it. And if maybe the feudal lord would give him 10 cents, him can go into the market with it and housewives would pay him $1. Right? And the market have a way to determine the price, because supply and demand. The more supply you have, the less price, the lower the prices are. The less supply you have, the greater the demand, the more the price will rise. But it have a way to balance out itself. Right? And those were the free markets that Adam Smith was referring to. He meant countries should trade freely with each other. Right? It don't mean that Jamaica must compete with America. in anything. It just means that America shouldn't want some bauxite. And because they want to hold on to their gold and their silver, they say they're not buying the bauxite from Jamaica. And Jamaica shouldn't want some stuff from America, oil or whatever else America sell. And they're saying, oh, we're going to do without the oil because we don't want to deplete our little gold and silver that we have. Right? That was the free trade that Adam Smith was talking about. It don't mean that we must open up the market and a country like America with 320 million people, right? And the land space that it have, with all the natural resources that it have and the capabilities that those lands can do, to compete with a little rock like Jamaica with 2.7 million people, right? But this is what these greedy money gods have is causing the world to believe. That that is the kind of free market Adam Smith was talking about, which is total nonsense. The free market he was talking about was countries trading freely with people. And by freely don't mean that you have to buy everything what the country make. If me can grow pigs at whatever price, I don't have to allow other people to come dump pigs on my pork on me, or poultry. We can grow that. All he was saying is that you should want a tractor to plow up the land and increase your productivity. And because you want to hoard your gold or you hoard your silver, you say you're not going to buy it. And that is why what he was saying, you should trade freely. You should buy free, buy what you want, spend your money. And the same thing in the local economy. If everybody don't want to buy from the tailor, don't want to buy from the little corner shop, then you have an economic freeze and everybody suffer for it. But if everybody spend freely with each other, then everybody will prosper. And that is what Adam Smith was getting at. But some of these guys now, these greedy guys who feel that them want to have sense, come to know to embellish that and take it even further. And want to tell a little country like Jamaica to hope up your market. So that Europe and all, America and all them can dump chicken down there. Right? Even Canada, everybody can do cheaper than Jamaica. So I don't know what we would do down here. That's nonsense. That's not what they're thinking. It means they must spend free, and then during the period of serfdom, him say, don't make the serf them go work. And then think they will be motivated to go produce more when the feudal lords, they have to produce and carry everything to give the feudal lords. And him say, if you want a wealthy nation, discourage that. Don't do that. Have free markets. And by free market, I mean you go, the farmer plant up the crop, go into the market, and if I also have to pay him $1 a pound for him cabbage, so be it. If you have an oversupply of cabbage and it goes so I only need to pay 50 cents, so be it. That is free market. But it don't mean that you should have a little country like Jamaica competing with China, competing with the US. That is nonsense. And it's greedy idiots who is driving those thinking, and we must be rejected. Those thinking must be rejected. I'm going to take a little break, give my voice a little rest, and then I will come back to the crux of what I want to talk about. There's some more of Mr. Bravo, champion.
DJ Bravo, DJ Bravo, Bravo, champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows it, Bravo, a champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows Chris Cade is a champion. Beanie a champion, Bounty a champion,
result a champion, yes. Yes, and we can be champion people if we have sensible leaders who will lead us the right way. And recently, Jamaica elect a champion boy to be Prime Minister, the most honorable Andrew Holness. And I'd like to appeal to him this evening, right? I see he made a good move using fiscal policies. Now, people, you influence savings and investment in a country using fiscal and or monetary policy. Now, the fiscal policy is the taxation, right? You can tax income or cut it when you want to stimulate. You can tax corporation or give them tax break like how you have the junior stock market, right? Those are brilliant ideas. Cutting the tax for low income people, brilliant ideas. I don't support tax cut for rich people, right? You know, the conservatives them talk about they are the job creators, so you must cut their tax and nonsense. When you cut the tax, them send it go Panama, go park the money and suck it out the system, right? Nonsense. Yeah, when you cut the tax for rich people. Rich people will be well taken care of. Even if they pay even as high as 50% tax on a marginal income over say 10 million, they will still do well, because when the other little people who get the tax cut, they're going to come spend their money buying the things that the guys produce, the guys who are rich produce, because they are rich because they produce a lot of things that society use, which is good. And I have nothing against rich people. I aspire to be rich too, so I'm not against it. But you know, if you don't have the rebalancing, you won't. It will run to a wreck. The system will crash. You have to rebalance. So fiscal policy is what's been used. So the junior stock market, the fiscal. I'm so proud of my party and the leader, because you tell the IMF say go away. You tell me about. We're going to offer incentive to people to start them business. The junior stock market stay. And 3 cheers to Finance Minister Adesha and Prime Minister Andrew Holness for standing up to the IMF, because them don't know nothing. They are there on the behest of the money gods of this world. They don't care about poor people. Right? Don't go and make sure say when the money gods lend us money, they get it back. That's all the IMF care about. And they are using system to ensure that we are dependent on these money gods. And then they will use the big stick to make sure say you pay it back when you get the loan. That's all they're doing. So when you look them in, I'm so proud of what Eddie dealt with them. And I'm happy that we have a government that can stand up to stupidity. That is what the current government is doing. They are standing up to stupidity, and they should be applauded for it. Thank you, Prime Minister Holness and Finance Minister Adesha. Stand up to stupidity. These people have no success anywhere in the world. All they show is suffering. Them don't have no success, pure suffering. So you stand up to them on behalf of the Jamaican people, right? But having offer or proposed the fiscal policies, I am here this evening to urge you to do something about the monetary policies. Now, listeners, the monetary policies, for those of you who don't know, is the amount of money in the system. Right? Remember I tell you about Rome or Rome fall? Because the people them start hoard their money. There was not enough money in the system to circulate the goods and serve and cause growth. So when you mess with your monetary policy, you can hurt your economy. Right? So the monetary policy is the volume of currency, the amount of money in the system. It is also the cost of the capital. And in Jamaica, our main problem is the cost of capital. And we are down there behaving like a set of damn fools, believing that the high interest rate regime that was imposed by Dr. Omar Davis and PJ Patterson is the new normal, and we must always stick with these high interest rates. These are idiotic thinking imposed by a stupid set of people who have not a clue how economy works. Right? And even after FinSac, they're still adhering to these high interest rate policy. Now I am appealing to the government, the sensible government, to confront this. Confront this. It's time you call in the banks. Ask them what kind of craziness they are doing. Stop talking about free market and business to make money and government don't interfere in the nonsense. Government regulate. And it was government who gave the banks the license to collect people money. Banks will get special license to collect the capital of the nation. And the banks should not be and cannot be allowed to use the capital of the nation in the interest of only the shareholders of the bank. That must stop. These banks are rapacious. They are greedy. And you need to deal with them. I looked on the interest rate and I was shocked. Bank of Jamaica. My thing is Excel spreadsheet. Average lending in 2010, 21%. Right? Average saving rate 4.24% and 21%. What kind of spread is that? Huh? These people are getting the spread of over 17%. This is lunacy. And I don't hear nobody talking about it. I hear Mr. Ralston, I'm on these big time economists or so-called economists. They come and they don't try to address it. Oh, you can't interfere in business. Nonsense. You're talking about the capital of the nation. It's a special product. You can't have free market with that. You have to have collective wisdom when dealing with that. And the wishes of the collective have to rule over the special interests. When you can make the baker bake the bread and export all of it, right? And you don't need to say nothing to him, because guess what? If all the baker bake bread and export it, we can't eat banana. We can't plant yam and dasheen, right? And breadfruit. We won't die. The people won't die. They have alternatives. So if these guys want to selfishly make all the bread and export it, fine. Can still find food. But when the financial sector choose to hoard the capital or do as they please with the capital, then what do we use for capital? What other people use for capital? Prime Minister Andrew Holness, I'm appealing to you, sir. Do something about these usurious rate of return. Do something about it. This is lunacy. Anybody? I mean, this guy, what's his name, from Texas, when he came and buy up the whole of the FinSac, him laughed at Jamaica. I wonder how could we have interest rate for so long? So high for so long. Huh? And we still have it high. These are lunatic rates of return. And then the banks come and brag about them make 10 billion every year. Doing what? Doing what? It's time to put an end to this. This must stop like right now. The banks, Prime Minister, call in the banks and use moral suasion first. Tell them that these rates of lending, average lending rate is lunacy. 21% in 2010. Folks, I'm coming from the Bank of Jamaica website, right? In 2011, 18.52%. Huh? And look at the average saving. Average saving 2.4. That's what they pay depositors. And their average lending, and this is average. Remember them are lending at team higher rates. They are lending at team higher rates. 18.52. You're talking about a spread of 16%. What lunacy is that? What kind of nonsense is that? Huh? Right? And right through 2011, 2.2% deposit on deposits, while 18% average lending. Right? The same thing continued into 2012. In November, when did they take a debt pair? In May, it came down to 17%. Right? Average lending. But average lending is still ridiculously high. In 2015, it's now 14.9, almost 15%. These are ridiculously high rate of lending. Ridiculously high rate of lending. People in Canada are getting 5-year mortgage for less than 5%. 5 years mortgage for less than 5%. Right? They're not getting anything on deposit. But even if you put your money in the bank and you get 1%, and you then pay 5% from 5-year mortgage, you're talking about a spread of 4%. Why Jamaica Bank need to get 16%? Exactly why? Because Omar Davis and PJ Patton in their stupidity allow bank to push their interest rate through the roof. And even after, it caused banks themselves to go bankrupt, life insurance to go bankrupt, and 40,000 other business to go bankrupt. They can't understand that high interest rate is a killer. Call in the banks. Mr. Shaw, I know you're a man of yard. Call him in. Tell them, say, it's nonsense them going on with. It's lunacy. That's why life's so hard for the poor people in Jamaica. Right? That's why life is so hard. Capital is too expensive. Nobody can venture. And because nobody is venturing, nobody can find jobs. It all come back to that. Well, a handful of people in the bank is making all the money. Nonsense. Must put a stop to that. You must put a stop to that. Call them in. Tell them say you interest rate at 9% overnight. Forthwith. 9% lending, average lending. Cut it in half. Almost. If you want 15%, then you want it 9. Let them nick off 6% off it. Right, they're giving people 1.4% on their money and want to charge 14%, 15% for average lending. Huh? What kind of lunacy is this? When is it gonna end? Huh? Because Omar Davis and PJ Patterson introduced it, we can't stop it. It's the new normal. It's not the new normal. In Japan, you have money, you have zero, you have negative interest. Negative interest. And even Canada, developed country like Canada, there's talk that we soon be facing negative interest. So when you put money in the bank, you're going to get negative money on it. Money must go to work. Put to work. And with negative interest, bank will lend at 2 and 3%. And when people can get mortgage at 3 and 4%, lot more house will sell. And when house sell, Mason man get work for build house. And you have a lot more economic activity. Call in the banks and tell them that they have been greedy for long enough. And tell them you want them to you to cut down to 9%. Reason with them. And you see if them not listen to you, you just pass some legislation and cap it. You have the power to do it. You have the power to do it. And if you think people excited about the tax cut, the 1.5 million tax cut, this is what they will be excited about. Yeah, when people can pay a 6% mortgage, and they will see how much money they are saving. When man pays so much less on car loan, when the taxi man them can have more money to keep and can spend in the economy, then you'll see how the economy grow. High interest rate was introduced to slow economy down. High interest rate is a contractionary economic policy. It's a contractionary monetary policy. It's when you want to slow the economy, you put high interest rate in place. And for banks to have the interest rate for so high so long is nonsense. And to beat about free market, there's no competition in the financial sector. You don't have competition. The one little thing that was giving competition, the credit unions, the money gods of Europe went and formulated their Basel agreement and ensured that credit union became compliant and be operating like other banks. So what you have is a cartel. Don't fool yourself into believing that you have free market practice with banks. You don't have it practice with banks. And what I'm telling you, what I'm suggesting, Minister Shaw, call in the banks and reason with them. Tell them what you want the interest rate to be. I think 9% is plenty enough. They're giving people 1% on money right now. And even if they give people 2% and lend at 9, them still having a spread of 7. If them can't make a living off of 7, they're in the wrong business. Alright? And them need this high interest rate because they don't want to lend nobody. They don't want to increase the lending activity, increase the economic activity, and then make money based on transactions. Right? That's what it's supposed to happen. It's supposed to have a lot more transaction and therefore they make money that way. But no, they just want to have this high interest rate, make a few transactions and live high on the yard. This is nonsense. Call them in, ask them to cut it down. And you see if they don't cut it. Here's what you do. Impose caps. Impose caps. Cap it. Set the interest rate. It is government who should have been setting interest rate in the first place. But these money gods of the world, want to manipulate mankind and manipulate countries, come with this nonsense about free market. As if the free market is the smartest thing in the world. Like if not, them crash the economy 2 times. Huh? About free market. Them crash the economy 2 times, So how smart are they, so? So don't come listen to them. Governments should set the interest rate policy. So you should assume that role again of setting the interest rate policy. And if that don't work, I see Belize did something which was brilliant. Government is to set up a parallel bank. Set up a parallel bank. If they don't want to cooperate with you, right, and come down to something reasonable, then you set up a parallel bank. I operate, with with the goal of making little or no profit. You just make enough money to pay the operation of the bank. And then you can lend people them money at reasonable rate. Because with these usurious rate of lending, there will be little or no economic activity taking place in the country. You cut it in half and see how economy explode. That is what you call prosperity. It doesn't matter what the party come with, it doesn't matter what the government come with. If interest rate, if the cost of capital is as high as it is now, and stay that way, there will be very little prosperity. And to have these kind of rates as if it can't go down. When Japan is having negative interest, and Canada is approaching this a negative interest regime, when people can't get off mortgage for less than 5%, why banks need these kind of rate of return? Why they need so much? It's time to put a stop to it. And that is a surefire way to ensure prosperity in the country. These guys come and talk and nonsense about how the efficient use of money and you're maximizing this at whose expense. And when you talk about efficiency for who? Huh? When you have this kind of rate of money become tight. Money gets scarce. You see, all the man want to plant a patch of cattle and can't help himself and his family. Him can't find the inputs. Bank not lending him. He can't go to him family because everything tight with the family. Every money they have a suck out paying mortgage interest and car loan. Not to mention having to buy food and gas. Well, gas not so bad nowadays. But because mortgage interest is so high, they have to be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars servicing a mortgage. If the rate come down, they pay maybe 50 into $100,000 less per year. This is money a working family member can take and look at in less fortunate brother and sister and say, all right, I can lend you 50,000, go buy some callaloo seed and some fertilizer and thing and go and plant, and then when you make a money, you give me it back. But no, because the more fortunate brother and sister is living hand to mouth. Them can't do nothing for the less fortunate one. And that's why the suffering is so high in the land. So, them not have to lend the callaloo man, because bank probably would think it hard to lend to them. Right? But if interest rate come down, then money will be less tight. And these guys will have a fortunate brother or sister or cousin, somebody else who will have a little slack in his cash flow. And he can squeeze him $10,000, $20,000 and say, go and go plant up some seed. Farm up the land. Raise a few head of goats. And those kind of things. Go raise some chicken. Do something for yourself. Them can look at money, okay, him never take book. Him not know that skill. Him is a hand cart man. He move people load around in the market. People can bank now go lend them money to buy the cart. Although I think they should. Nothing wrong with that. Because a prosperous economy when everybody can indulge in economic activity, that's when you get prosperity. And the same bank will benefit. Because when people start make money and money start circulating, everybody's gonna come dump it back in the bank. Right? And they're just short-sighted. But that's human nature, we're just greedy. The thing we think is good for us is always often bad for us. And what we think is bad for us is often good for us. Right? But when you force the reduction in interest rate, then you're going to have a teacher, nurse, or some other person who have a relative who never take the book, who can then help. Him will be, that person, that teacher or nurse will be in a better position to help his or her less fortunate brother or sister to help start do something. You understand? And they won't have to be looking to these payday loan, these another set of users who they don't understand. If they help people and make people prosper, they will prosper too. They just figure they have to just make sure and make this killing now, because it won't be here forever. Of course it won't be here forever, because everybody might soon go bankrupt and we have another FinSac again. Our interest rate is a crippling device. It was designed to contract economy, to slow economy down. You use the interest rate when there's more demand in the system than people producing goods and service and causing inflation. That's the time you use the interest rate. An interest rate is not something you applaud. It's not a goal to work towards. You understand? And the minister has to do something about it. If they were to implement these monetary policies, make capital be less expensive to the average man, along with the fiscal policies, that is what will cause economic explosion. Then prosperity will have a drenching downpour of prosperity. And now is the time to move. Don't do little fiscal now and then little monetary later. Do them together. And the combined effect will be powerful. Start speaking out against it, man. Jab on the interest rate down and use moral suasion and get it down. And when that don't work, you use whatever authority you have to set interest rate. Set it. You must have some authority to set interest rate. Set it. And if that don't work, set up a parallel bank like Belize. Set up a government bank and let them get the message. Because you talk about free market. There's no free market with banking. They're a cartel. You go out and check and see how much your fees are from bank to bank. You go out and check and see how much each bank charge for bounce check. They're in unison. There's no competition there. You understand? What you find is that you'll find them charging X amount for bounce check. And one man go X plus 10%. And everybody join and go X plus 10% too. That's what happened. You don't have a free market, you don't have no competition in these things. And you're talking about the capital of the nation, the lifeblood of the nation. This has to be regulated. And you have this party, this government have the balls to stand up to IMF. Have the balls and stand up to the banks too. Stand up to the banks. Because they believe they're doing a great, wonderful thing. They are sucking people dry. They are plundering the nation. And they are like our financial sectors around the world. Like Wall Street, go right back. All that they're doing is just ripping off the countries of the world. Strangling the countries of the world. Right? They get the special license to collect people money and then take the license and collect everybody money and then use the money in the interest of the shareholders of the banks only. That's all that matters to them. The shareholders. That's nonsense. When you're going to take your money, man, and go bake bread, and you do it in the interest of your shareholders, that's fine. But you're collecting the capital of the people. Everybody. The Yankee man money too. The Kalalu man money. You collect that. That's why you have to put the money in the bank. Because you get a special license from government to be able to collect that money. And then now you want to use all of that money. And only use it in the interest of your shareholder. Nonsense, I say. You must use it in the interest of the country. And it is not in the interest of the country to have interest rate as high as they are. And because the PNP allow you to keep it as high as it was, no means say it right. Because PG and Omar implemented these humongous rate of return, don't mean that is a new normal. Those were the actions of idiots, lunatics. And even after them blow up the financial sector, mash up business, cause people to have suicide, they don't learn yet. And everybody seems to think, oh, that's a new normal. Nonsense. Nonsense. And if the banks won't go and do it out of out of their own volition, then government must urge them along with moral suasion. And if they don't respond to that, just remind them. You have the power to tax, you have the power to cap, and you have certain other powers. Because the other thing that you can do is impose a windfall profit tax on these banks. Why are they making so much money? How they make it? What them do to make it? Huh? You think that is something you applaud? No, that is not something you applaud. You're talking about the banks here. You're talking about the people who are supposed to provide capital for the nation so that everything else can go on. How them can be making so much money? I see the other day I see Grace balance sheet. Grace did something like $80 billion make for 4 billion. 80 billion I make 4 billion. Huh? 80 billion in revenue. Make 4 billion. So if that's what they have to be living on, why banks can't live on the same though? Why they have to be making these humongous amount of money? And what are they doing to earn this humongous amount of money? Yeah, man. We need to come back to our senses. We need to realize that the economic thinking have been hijacked by lunatics. And all people who you think would have sense don't have it. Right? Because right now, even in America, that's why I don't have no more regard for Bill Clinton. Because Bill Clinton was the man who removed Glass-Steagall. You understand? He signed the legislation removing Glass-Steagall. It was an act that was imposed by FDR. FDR is a Democrat. And everybody see FDR as maybe one of the third best, one of the third best president America has had. And the man signature event, Bill Clinton revoke it. Right? Because him get caught up with the Wall Street cabal. And what happened? Within 7 years of him revoking Glass-Steagall, the world economy blew up again. Right? Because removing the Glass-Steagall was what allow banks to intermingle money. Right? With Glass-Steagall, banks could only do banking, boring banking, make modest amount of money. An investment bank was there. Another financial institution was separate and apart. And then with the removal of Glass-Steagall, everybody come in that one now. And all these people take the bigger pool of capital to do with bigger speculation. That's all they did. Like Jamie Dimon said send 300 billion to London to bet about company credit rating will fall. Huh? 300 billion betting a company credit rating will fall. And if him betting 300 billion, that means him have another guy on the other side of the bet. Betting another 300 billion. So you talk about 600 billion. Talking about company credit rating fall. And we wonder why people can't find work. Huh? And all these things were made by the guy Bill Clinton sign out the act revoking Glass-Steagall. Right? And for a Rhodes Scholar and for a liberal, I found that very unliberal like, right? And it proved to me that mankind, even though you think have sense, has lost their mind, right? A man like Bill Clinton, because I had such high regard for him, that he was such a smart, brilliant man, and he removed Glass-Steagall, and then to top it off, him come talk about what Mitt Romney was doing at Bain Capital was sterling. Yeah, when him said that, him lose me totally. Mitt Romney use money of rich and famous people and go buy companies, steel mills, Toys R Us and all them place there, right? And just load them up with debt to put in his pocket. And then if a company could service it, them service it at great expense to the workers. But oftentimes, most of those companies couldn't service that debt and went bankrupt. And that is what Bill Clinton was calling sterling. Right? So I say all of that to say that people you think have sense have none. And this is why the world has come to where it is right now. Because we have a lot of lunatics ruling the world. And that is why Donald Trump is getting so much traction in America. Because Donald Trump said, we are being led by stupid people. And that is the only thing I agree with him on. America is being led by stupid people. The financial sector people are stupid. They wrecked the world already. They wrecked it 2 times already. And they will wreck it again. And they still feel that their methods are smart. Right? People are struggling. Man have 2 degrees and can't find work. And them think they're being so smart. Right? The world is being led by stupid people, and we in Jamaica don't have to follow them. We don't have to follow them. Make them go on them separate ways. If them go on prosperity, wish them luck, good. But I can't tell you for certain, but I won't find none. That's not how prosperity come. Understand? So we must start separating from the crowd. We stop following the herd. The herd don't know where to go. The herd is lost. And we need to stop following the herd. We need to come back to our senses. And this government has been displaying common sense. This government come with a tax cut that is brilliant. And I support it 100%. Cut tax for poor people. Make rich people pay more. And rich people, I don't have nothing against you. Because here's the thing. You're going to get even richer. You hear me? When you pay more and more activity going out there, you're going to have more demand for your goods and service, and you're going to make more. You will prosper. There is evidence to show it. When the FDR did it in the 1930s, right? America economy explode. Take 9 years for the income to double. Between 1933 and 1941. 9 years because FDR pile on tax for rich people and corporation. So when people think taxation is bad, it's good. And a lot of things that people think is good is bad. But that's human nature. But there is evidence. Paying taxes will make you a rich man. Take that from me. And it will make you can't sleep at night. Right now, the owner of cartel is up every night. Can't worried about when poor people go and rise up. Right? I think the French Revolution is fresh in his mind. Because that is what will happen. You have to make others live. And in making others live, you don't live a less life. As a matter of fact, you will live a greater life. The gap between rich and poor might not be as wide, but I tell you, you will be at a higher height. Because right now, what is happening is like, you know, for example, the rich man is 100 and the poor man is 1. But if the rich man allow, you know, pay up him tax and make more economic activity, he could be at 200. And the poor man might be at 50. So the poor man will be better off and the rich man will be way up there. But the gap wouldn't be as wide, you see. And that is what they look at and feel that they're doing well. They look at the wide gap. Oh, there's so many poor people and I'm this richer than all of them. But they don't understand that if everybody makes a more, then the rich man, the man at the top will make even more. And the man at the bottom will make more and live a little better life. And the only thing that you will give up is the gap between rich and poor. The poor man will have a little more. You will have more, but the poor man will have a little more. And the gap between what you have and what the poor man have will be close. You will have a narrower gap. And that will lead to less discontent. And more people can go sleep at night. The president of cartel now have a fret with him 5 billion. That there's going to be an uprising of poor people. Anyway, this thing's called for leadership. And I'm looking to the government that I support, that I have every confidence in, to do the right thing. Talk to the bank. Don't get caught up in this nonsense about free market. And business in business to make money. Everybody in business to make money. Everybody. Poor people. What do you think poor people say them think they go to school, go there? So they can come be servant to rich people? No. Everybody is in business to make money. The rich, the poor, everybody. Man who don't have no business in get up every morning to go make money. All of us. We rise up every day because we need to make money. So come to with this talk about business to make money. Money must be fairly made. And there must be equity in the system. And the system must be balanced. And there are times when we have to look to the government to impose the balancing. And you're making the move with the fiscal policies. Now is the time, Mr. Prime Minister and Mr. Minister of Finance, to move against monetary system. You need to impose balance in the monetary system. Interest rate must be cut in two. The lending rate must be cut in two. It's ridiculously high. Just look around the world. And then inform yourself. Call in the banks. Have a talk with them. And then if they don't respond, do what you have to do. Impose taxation, windfall profit tax, cap earnings, restrict their fee, the amount they can charge poor people for fee. And at the last resort, set up a parallel bank and give them some serious competition. Because right now, there are cartel. There's no competition in the financial sector. Set up a parallel bank, give them some competition. And let them know those are options you have when they're not dealing with you in a fair and balanced way. I'd like to thank you all for joining me this evening. If you like what you hear, I invite you to share it with your friends, your family and your friends. And let the listenership for this talk show grow from strength to strength. So far last week, the growth was 2,700 almost. And those were impressive because, the peak period was when politics was high. We had a lot of people tuning in for politics, but it was very heartening to see people tuning in last week to listen to ideas about the tax cut. So until next week, I'd like you to remember, keep the faith and spread it gentle.